Hi. Well, hello, it's Thursday night, it's 6 o'clock and it's gorgeous, and we've just had some great news that we can now mix with 6 people in our own gardens, so things are getting better, and let's hope that everybody is doing all right. Right, tonight we're talking about backs, because I have a couple of clients with bad backs, and people have bad backs from time to time. The first thing to remember is, unless you've had like a fall or a car crash or some actual accident, an incident, most back pain is caused by poor posture. And the poor posture we normally talk about is when you're sitting at your desk, you've got your hips tipped back, therefore your shoulders are forward, and all the pressure is on here. So if I can teach you just how to sit up straight, which will take a lot of getting used to, I'm afraid, but if I could just sit there like a little thing on your shoulder going, nah, 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 then I will have done my job. That's my aim, is for you to not have bad necks, bad shoulders, bad backs because of poor posture. So, and then I wanted to also talk about when you have a bad back. I say, what's this? This is a block of ice. You know the ones you get in your picnic boxes? Always keep one in the freezer. And then if you have a bad anything, you know, elbow, shoulder, neck, knee, normally what happens is you've overused it, and you've caused inflammation, and inflammation flipping hurts. So you need to get rid of it, and the best way to get rid of it is with ice. But I'm afraid nobody can do that for you. Nobody can get rid of your inflammation unless you're prepared to just wait. Use ice. You can use it 10 minutes. Don't put the ice right against your skin. Always have something in between. And then you can sit there while you're doing anything else. You don't have to sit there and just put ice on. You can put your ice on while you're doing your Facebook or whatever you choose. But as long as you get the ice on, you can also take paracetamol or ibuprofen if you're allowed, but you must check with your doctor before you do that. And the other thing is rest. Rest doesn't mean, if you've got a bad back, you're not supposed to walk around stiff as a board for 6 weeks. For years now they've been saying keep moving. But if you've got a bad back and it hurts, that's really difficult, isn't it? But this is moving. They're not asking you to be a gymnast and to start lifting weights. They're just asking you to keep moving, because all the muscles here and all the ligaments in between your spine, if you don't keep moving, they're just going to go and give up. So you've got to keep them active, alive and strong. And then when your back's ready to move again, they're all there waiting for you. So, anybody else new? Hi everybody, yes, I can see you all. Hi, brilliant. I don't know what that means. We won't do that. Okay, so let's start. And as always, we start with good posture, because that's what fixes us. Feet together, turn your toes out at 10 to 2, lift your heels behind, lengthen your neck. We do this every week, day in, day out. Shoulders down and back, as though you have a rucksack on, and you're taking your shoulders down and back, and the rucksack is just pulling them slightly. Neutral spine is vital. I'll come a bit nearer for that. Neutral spine. Put your hands on your hips, swivel your bum out. Now pelvic tilt. Swivel your bum out. The more mobility you have in your spine, the bigger you can do this. So if you notice, I'm not leaning forward at all. It's only my hips and my back moving. And that in itself, if you've got a bad back, is lovely. As long as you're doing it up to, not into pain. Now make that movement smaller and smaller and smaller until you're rocking in the middle, and then stop. And lo and behold, your knee, hip and shoulder are all in alignment, and that's what Mother Nature intended. Now we want to engage the core. You put your hands on your belly and concentrate on your hands and cough. And if your hands go, that's completely the opposite. Now do it again and bring them in. And that's engaging your core. Somebody's sending me a message. No, not doing that. Okay, so now we're set up, we just have to think about the breathing. So it's not like yoga breathing, it's a bit different. So we breathe in through the nose for 4 and out through the mouth for 4. In through the nose for 4 out through the mouth before. This breathing is also good, keep going, is also good because if you're feeling a bit panicky and you feel like your heart's fluttering away, then if you do this breath rate and even breathe out for longer, it really helps you slow your systems down and calm your nervous system and bring your heart rate down. So it's really good for you. Okay, so that's sorted now. Now we're going to start with mobilising all the joints, and that's mobilising is just moving all the joints a little bit so that when we work them in a few moments, they're ready and know what's happening. You're not just suddenly going to shock them by flinging an arm around. Okay, so in our beautiful setup position, nothing moves. And I didn't talk about the pelvic floor. Pelvic floor is inside, lift it up inside, hold it there, lower it down. Now lift it all the way up again, lower it down halfway and a little bit more, and that's 30%. So what you've got now is you've got like a barrel. You've got your pelvic floor lifted here, your diaphragm's holding it here, you've got your core engaged, you've got your neutral spine. So you know those trees that grow and they little saplings and they have those hard cases around them? Imagine then that this core is like a corset around your spine. So it's like that hard case that protects your spine. So when you're picking things up, brace, neutral spine, bend over without bending over. I did a video on this. Don't bend over like this. We bend over like this. And that is protecting your spine. So now we'll mobilise. Okay, so keeping everything there. Inhale, and as you exhale, turn your face off to the side. And inhale back. And off to the other side. Notice my shoulders aren't moving. And back. Keep that going at that rate. And back. Keep going. Hi there. Hi. Hi Sue. Hi Julie. Hi. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Now we're going to look up to the sky. But nothing moves except your chin. Now we're going to go chin to chest. You might feel it creaking, keep going. You might feel it creaking. Creaking is fine. It's just everything stretching. But, as I keep saying, you never go into pain. You go up to, but not into pain. So, and if you've got a bad neck and you're doing this, there might be a bit of discomfort. Of course there is, you've got a bad neck. But you never push it, because you want it to get better quickly. Okay, now draw a circle with your nose. Do 2 one way, and 2 the other way. Okay, shoulders, shrug them high, drop them low. Take them forward and take them back. Now circle them. And the other way. And if you remember as well, always do the same amount on both sides. That's up to you. You're in control of your body. I can't see you. And now we're going to circle the arms. So we start with a small range of movement. Always small range of movement. You don't know what's going on, do you? So you start with a small range of movement. And as long as that doesn't hurt, you can go as big as you like. Which brings me on to my disclaimer. I can't see you. I don't know. I know who some of you are. Some of you are my clients. Thank you. But I can't be held responsible for you doing your own workout from here. Change direction. You have to look after your body. You've only got one of them. Look after it. Be responsible. You're not competing with anybody because there's nobody in the room. So don't worry about that, and you just look after yourself. Now, good old Barbara Windsor, bless her. Short and long. This is the best one for when you've been doing lots of press-ups. And notice I'm not arching my back, I'm still keeping my neutral spine. And some diagonals. That's lovely, lovely stretch. So those of you who just joined, we're doing backs. Now put your hands on your hips and just circle them gently. So if you're here today because you've got a bad back and you know this is about backs, then you have to look after your back and not take it into pain. Now, if it doesn't hurt, you can go as big as you like. But if you haven't got any back pain, we're doing back mobility, back strength and flexibility. And change direction. So that feels lovely because I don't have back pain. So I'm just stretching all of this and all of this. Now again, if you've got back pain, you take it slower and you make it smaller. But if you haven't got back pain, you can take this whole lump of body and take it all the way around. So you're in charge. I keep my hands here just in case. And you can go as low as you want to in the front, and you don't fling anything anywhere. It's all under control. And change. We're doing lots of plank. Warning, warning. Brilliant. Okay, we need to open up the hips a little bit, so take the foot forward, draw a semicircle, bring it back. I've had to keep my socks on because my feet kept sticking, didn't they, last week? So, sweaty feet. This helps with balance. If you're good at balance, this is more difficult, and if you're really, really good at balance, try this. Now lift the knee, turn it out. And swing it front to back. So we're just warming up the hips and then change sides. Point the foot, take it round. And now lift the knee, turn it out. Whoops. If anybody has any questions, you can always inbox me. Most of you know who I am anyway, so brilliant. Okay, up onto your tiptoes and lift your toes. Up onto your tiptoes and lift your toes. Okay, brilliant. We're done. So the first exercise we're going to do is press-ups. There are various ways of doing press-ups. So again, if you have a bad back, or you're new to Pilates or exercise, you want to keep your knees on the floor. So if you're new, this will be your press up here. Your hands are just on your mat. I take my bum down, so I'm in a straight line, and then you take your elbows out to the side and your chin towards the floor and back up. So we see lots of people at the gym doing press ups like this. They're not press ups, these are press ups. Okay, if you're finding that difficult, shorten your box and then take your chest down in between your hands. Not your head here, but your chest. So it's vital that you keep everything tight, core, floor, and breathe. Okay, but for mobility for the spine, we're going to start here. Inhale, as you inhale, drop the chin. And then you're going to follow your head all the way down to the floor. When you need to, bend your knees, walk your hands out, and either put your knees down or not. One press up, slowly down, slowly up, and return to standing by walking the hands back, straightening the legs to mild tension, hands on your thighs for support if you want to, and all the way back up, and repeat. Head down, arms down, bend the legs when you need to, walk the hands out, pick your press up position, one press up, and all the way back. Okay, we're doing a few of those. I'll show you from the front. Chin down, hands, walk the hands out. Look how wide my hands are. Elbows go out to the side, elbows come back up, walking it back. And repeat. Chin to chest, hands down, all the way down, walking out, press up, all the way back up. So if you find that very easy, you can do 2 press-ups there, or 3. But it is the spine mobility we want. And this is the plank position that really tests your strength. And let's do another couple. And the next one is the last one, and you can stay down when you've finished. Okay, stay down here. So while we're here, there's a couple of things you can do in between exercises or when you need a rest. One of the poses is cat-cow. Do that anytime you need to. And the other one is child pose. So you can do that anytime you need to. And all of those are just used, because we're using the back and we're using it an awful lot, those are the restorative postures. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is dart. Dart is quite easy, but has to be done properly. So we're lying on our front, forehead to the floor, arms behind you with the backs of your hands on the floor, feet together, long, relaxed. Inhale, and as you exhale, brace your core as though you've got an ice cube under there, and just bring the shoulders up and turn the hands. We don't bring the face up, we leave the face down. And down. Inhale, brace, exhale, lift. And down. Keep going. So as you can see, this is working all of your back and your shoulders, in between your shoulders. So keep going. Rest when you need to, child pose or cat-cow. And some of you have been doing this with me for years, so I'm going to show you a progression for it. And that is, inhale, dart, exhale, bring the hands round, inhale, stay there, exhale, bring the hands back, inhale down. So that's how slow it is. Keep that core get engaged, keep that bum squeezed. Keep going. How you doing? So if you had back issues, you could just be coming up here like this. But what this is doing, keep going if you can, is strengthening your back. It's also a little bit of flexibility as we get up to here, but it's a massive, massive strengthener. Okay, let's do a couple more. And then we're going to rest in child pose, help yourself back. That's lovely. So remember, rest whenever you need to. So the next one we're going to do is swan dive. There is a preparation for swan dive, which I will show you. So now we're lying with our hands out to a T and then fingertips up. So we've got lots of right angles. So the first thing to do is inhale, and as you exhale, inhale, brace your core. As you exhale, you lift your head and shoulders, but with your hands on the floor, and you squeeze your elbows in towards each other. Can you see my arm muscles switching on? I'm pushing my arms this way, not bringing my face up. I'm keeping my face down, and relax down. So inhale, brace. Exhale, lift as high as you can, keeping the elbows on the floor. And down. Inhale, brace. Exhale, lift. Now if you want to stay here longer, you can take a full inhale and exhale here. So you've got the support of your arms the whole time there, so you can carry on doing that if you've got any back issues. But if you want to take it up a level, swan dive, we're now going to float the arms off the floor. You won't be able to come as high unless you're lifting the feet as a counterbalance. But we don't want to do that. We want to keep the feet on the floor. So you inhale, engage your core. Exhale, float the arms. Inhale at the top and float down. Inhale, brace. Exhale, float. Inhale at the top and exhale down. So you can carry on doing that. You can go back to the other one, or we can progress it again for those of you who've been with me a while. Inhale, lift. Exhale, take the hands out. Inhale, back and down. Brace the core. You go. So again, you keep going. This is a brilliant strengthening move for all of the back and the shoulders again, and the neck. Take the hands out and down. So anything we do here, if you want to progress it any further, you stay here for extra breaths. And back down. So I think we could probably do 5 more of those. There's one of them. And 2 of them. You're squeezing your tummy tight, bracing your core. It's called all those things. It's as though you've got an ice cube under your tummy now. And 1 more. And relax. So back into child pose. So those of you that have had back pain and you are now recovered, that's your time to do all these strengthening exercises to prevent back pain again. But I'm afraid you have to put the effort in, and I know I sound like an odd nag bag, but when you say to me you've got backache and then I give you things to do and then you don't do them, it's like when you go to the doctors and you get a prescription and you get some tablets. You take them, don't you? Well, if you went to a physio and they wouldn't give you tablets, they'd give you exercises. But I'm afraid you have to put the work in yourself and do them. Nobody can do them for you. So we have a nice stretch now, which is also a spine twist. So you lie on the floor, put your hands on the floor and your forehead on top. Feet are together and long. Inhale, brace, and as you exhale, peel first the elbow and then the forearm off the floor. So we've got a nice spine twist. And same the other side. You look like an aeroplane, which we can hear actually. Very nice spine twist, gentle. That's 2 each side. Let's do 3 more. Do 1 more each side. Brilliant. So you can go back into child pose. You might want to stay in child pose. We've got a biggie coming up now. We've got plank. Now, plank is known as being one of the best exercises to strengthen your core and your shoulders. But actually moving plank is even better. But it's tough, it's really tough. So plank is lots of ways. There's high plank and low plank. Low plank's on your elbows, high plank is on your straightened arms. I prefer high plank because, you know, I've got this funny elbow. So I always prefer high plank anyway. But today we're doing high plank. Now, to get into high plank, you put your hands, wrists directly under your shoulders, brace your core, flat back, slide 1 leg out. Inhale, and as you exhale, slide the other leg out to meet it. Be ready to put your knees down if you need to. And if you have a weak back or you're new to Pilates, you don't even want to lift your knees off the floor. This is plank for you. So remember, this is plank, but this is plank as well. Okay, so we're going to stay here, and then those of you that are new will stay here, don't move. But the ones that are hardcore with me, here we go. We're going to do moving plank. So no swinging of the bum. Bum stays still. And we're not going like this. We're going nice and calm and controlled. Very tough. Again, you can do this here, look. No worries. And whenever you need to rest, go into child pose. But otherwise, here we are. Keep your bum squeezed. Keep your shoulders down and back. You don't want your shoulders up around your ears. Definitely keep that belly squeezed as though you're trying to get your belly button to spine. Keep going. So this is a moving plank. Very quick way of getting your core strong, your back strong, shoulders strong, wrists. Oh yeah, if your wrists hurt, just do this. Rest when you need to, work when you don't. Okay, I'm going to do 5 more on each side. 2, 3, 4, 5. Well done. So you're feeling your belly work really hard now, aren't you? Into child pose. And then what's a really good stretch for your tummy is to drop the hips towards the floor a little bit. You might want to come down on your elbows, it's up to you, as long as you're getting a nice stretch. Okay, so we're going to do some cat-cows now, because when you've been gardening or sewing, like I'm doing a lot of sewing at the moment on the floor, and you're in this position for a long time, which of course you won't be in this position anymore, will you? You'll be in this position, but it's a killer on the back. So sometimes it's so stiff it hurts, but before you even move, cat-cow, we're in that neutral setup spine position. I've got my wrists under my shoulders, knees under my hips. To do a cat stretch, take your back as high as you can up to the sky, and then drop back to neutral spine. Now take your belly towards the floor and look up, bum out, and back. So you can do that anytime, as many times as you like. And if you're in the kitchen or a dining room table, you can have your hands here and you can do your cat-cow standing up. Got a message. So you do that as often as you like. Okay, so bear that in mind because we're now doing side plank. It's a killer. Right, side plank, again, you can do it on your hand straight, which I prefer. And if you keep your knee on the floor, you've got a lot of support. So you've got 1, 2, 3 points in contact with the floor and you have more support. If you want to, you can lift that knee off, and that's your side plank. You can do this down here as well, but if you're doing it here, make sure you grow out of the shoulder, because this is going to hurt your neck. So you grow out of the shoulder. Again, you can leave the knee on the floor. So here's your side plank here or here. So, I mean, you've got a lot of options now. Try the low one first with your knee on the floor, and if you find that too easy, then try it. But as I say, I'm going to do it up here because I prefer it. What you need to know is that I'm in a straight line. So in other words, I've not got my bum stuck out, and I definitely haven't got my back arched. I'm in a dead straight line. Core's tight, bum's tight. And just hang around, rest when you need to. and do that cat-cow. So there's lots of things you can do here if you want. You can take your arm over and take your belly up to the ceiling, not your belly, your side, and back down. You can do dips, real killer. But you choose. You could just stay here. And smile. Notice how my neck's not dropping, I'm keeping it in line. You can even go here, under and up, you choose. If your wrist's hurting, then stop by all means. And lower down. Brilliant. So what you need to do now is just sit here like this, mermaid stretch. See how my knees are? Take this arm up and just stretch over. So I'm stretching the other way. Lovely. Okay, we're going to do the other side now. Same old, same old. So choose your position, elbow down, or maybe knee up, or same thing, here, or here. And hang around. Rest when you need to, it's your body. You still got that nice breath rate. Don't hold your breath. So you're breathing in for 4 through the nose. Exhale for 4 through the mouth. Core's tight, bum's tucked in. So core tight can mean belly button to spine. It can mean zip it up. It can mean abs switched on. All those things mean engage your core. Rest when you need to. Okay, and down we come, and we'll just stretch off that side. Lovely. So we're going to do shoulder bridge now, and we're going to do shoulder bridge with mobility for the spine. Okay, so you come this side. Oh, she really does like helping. Okay, shoulder bridge. You have your feet hip distance apart, your knees hip distance apart. You have your back down on the floor. Now, this is the big thing about your back. When you're doing anything lying on the floor, if your back starts to lift or your belly starts to dome, it means that your core isn't strong enough to hold the position. So just make sure you keep that core engaged and keep your back towards the floor. It's vital. Let's have a see how strong your back is for yourself. Inhale, engage your core. So you notice I'm not tipping my hips up to the ceiling, up to the sky, or arching my back. I'm finding that midway point, same as we do when we're standing up. Now inhale, as you exhale, take one knee up to tabletop. So it's as though I've got my leg resting on a table, called tabletop. Now pointy toes are pretty, but when you're doing a flexed foot like this, it means you're getting a stretch in the back of the leg. So we always do, in my classes, we always do a flex foot. So take it back down, and same on the other side. Now notice if your back rises even a millimetre off the floor. If it does, you need to do exercises before you start lifting legs off the floor. And down. How's that feel? So all you're doing now is just checking, do a little self-check of how your core is feeling. Is it moving, going like this, or staying down? Okie dokie. Right, now shoulder bridge. So now we're lying in our setup position. The first thing you do is pelvic tilt, and now you lift first your bum, then one vertebrae, then the next one, until you're up in a nice straight position. Arms can stay on the floor, and if you press down with your hands, you're getting your bingo wings a workout as well. And now inhale at the top and then exhale down one vertebrae at a time. So that's flexibility of the spine and mobility of the spine, but also strength to stay up there. So you can stay up at the top, squeeze your bum, perhaps 5 squeezes, and then roll down. And rebuild, and off we go again. So there's lots of things we do in bridge, but because today is concentrating on the spine and mobility, that's why we're doing lots of ups and downs rather than other things. Very nice with the back. Noisy today, isn't it? Feeling your thighs getting a workout. If you need to rest at any time, bring one leg in first to your chest, then the other one, and then roll side to side. And then always replace one to the floor, then the other. Otherwise, keep doing your shoulder bridge. Squeaking. I hope it's not my back. It's probably just the mat. How does that feel? Okay, bring one leg in, straighten the other leg out, roll those ankles round. Take that leg down, take the other leg up, roll the ankles. Right, so the next one we've got, any of you with any back issues, it's a really good stretch, and those of you will know what I'm talking about, where you can move straight on to the strength work. But to do the mobility, you want to take your arms out to a T, keep your shoulders on the floor, knees together, ankles together. Inhale. As you exhale, we take the knees over to the side, up to, never into pain. But notice how my other foot has to come off the floor because I've got my feet glued together. So it's not like this, like this. And then back up and off to the other side. Always do a mini one first. And then on this one, if you go as far as you want to go, comfortably.
Nobody can hear you. I've just been watching it. Really, really quiet.
Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Turn the volume up. Okay. So you can carry on doing this, and you can even look across the opposite hand and wait and pause here. Really good for you. And across to the other side. But those of you who want to work a bit harder, you already know what you're probably already doing it, aren't you? Bring one leg to tabletop, other leg to tabletop. If your back comes off the floor at all, this is too tough. Stay where you were before. Now take the whole lot over. And bring the whole lot back. And take it over the other way. Now remember, physics, levers make things heavier. So if you want to work it a bit harder, you can straighten your legs. And off to the other side. So it's up to you which you do, and when you need to rest, bring them in and hug them close to your chest. But otherwise, keep going. going down is actually quite easy. Inhale there, coming back up is the tough bit. From here, end on, and I'll do it this way. I'll my bum in your face. It's like this. So I'm going to do 2 more on each side. That's 1. And this is 2. And then when we finish this exercise, we always go back and do the stretch to relax all the muscles. And stretch off to the other side. Brilliant. We're going to come up to sitting. So we've only got one more exercise, which is a seated spine twist. So, right, this is when you know whether you've got tight hamstrings or not, because if when you're sitting your pelvis is tipped back, then you know you've got tight hamstrings. If you can actually hoik yourself up and sit on those sitting bones, then you know your hamstrings are the right length. And runners are often people that have tight hamstrings because they go off and do fantastic runs and then they don't stretch off after. So every time you run and your muscles are contracting, you need to stretch them off again after, and people don't bother. So anyway, let's see. So if you can sit on a block. I haven't got one with me. If this is uncomfortable and you sit on a block or a cushion or something, that helps. But anyway, otherwise, we sit with our feet comfortably wide, toes flexed if you can. Take your hands to prayer position. Put your fingertips on your chin and your thumb on your sternum, chest. Inhale, and as you exhale, turn across to the side, but without any leaning. You want to keep both bums equally on the floor. So you've got a £50 note under each cheek. Don't want it to blow away. And back. And off to the other side. Now the reason we're holding our hands here is so you can remember what this relationship is, so that the chin always stays right above the chest. Yeah. So if you can do that, you can take your hands here, which makes it harder. Don't bother with limp arms and the bingo wings. Have nice strong arms. And now take the whole lot. Now the arms aren't moving away, they are staying in exactly that position in relation to my head. And off they go to the side and back. And off they go to the other side and back. So those people that have been doing this for a while know that you can progress by pulsing here. So it's not about swinging round, not at all. It's about taking it round and then pulse, pulse, pulse and back. And pulse, pulse, pulse and back. So what I do when I'm watching telly is I might stay here for a minute on the one side, and then you really know about it. And back. And then a minute on the other side. Rest when you need to. And if your legs are giving you a bit of jip by now, you can bring them in, and you can even, if you want to by now, then cross your legs. But I actually am quite comfy here. Notice how your shoulders are not up round your ears, they're nice and low and relaxed, believe it or not. This is the last exercise. I know most of my clients complain about the shoulders aching on this exercise before the waist. cocktail in the garden. Okay, make it even on both sides, bring it down, shake the arms off. Obviously lean back if you need to now, shake the legs. So what we're going to do now is stretch. So we're going to do a hamstring stretch. We can do both together by sitting upright last time. So if you're sitting like this, there's no hamstring stretch at all, is there? So now if I take myself upright, not yet for me, some of you will be feeling it already. There, that's when I'm feeling my hamstrings switch on. So you go to there and no further, and you just stay there, because it's not uncomfortable, remember, is it? It's a mild tension only. And keep breathing, and then on an exhale you'll feel that they all kind of relax a little bit, called the stretch reflex, and you can go a little bit further. But going further doesn't mean leaning over, because if you lean over you're tipping your pelvis back, so you still need to keep your pelvis forward. And you hold it, it's your stretch, don't forget, not mine. And then on the last exhale, you can just flop over and relax. Okay, walk it back up. Now we need to stretch the sides off, don't we? So we're going to go back into that mermaid pose. See how my knees are. Take this hand down to the floor, this hand up to the ceiling, and stretch over. Nice, gentle stretch. If you look under your armpit, it encourages your shoulder back. And then as we come out of it, hold on to your shin and take this arm up and stretch over. Remember, if you've got any questions, please inbox me, phone me. Forward out. You need to do the same with your legs the other way, so swap the legs over. First of all, I'm going to go this way, take the arm up and over. So remember, if you have back pain and it's come on by an accident or an incident, please look after it. That's completely different to what we're talking about now. What we're talking about now is when you have backache, usually caused by bad posture. Out of it. And looking after it, icing it, ibuprofen if you're allowed, paracetamol if you're allowed. If it doesn't recover in, say, 2 weeks, make an appointment with your doctor. But usually most back pain does sort itself out if you stop doing what causes the bad back pain, but usually it's posture. And bring it out. Right, while we're here, let's stretch the bums off. So, I'm in the same position that I was in, and now I'm going to put my hands on the floor here. And if you look at my back, when my back is rounded, I have no stretch in this bum. But as soon as I arch my back and push the weight over this knee, I get a lovely stretch in this bum. And we hold it. We don't push it, we don't overdo it, we just hold it in that nice position. So you have a nice stretch there. Because we were using these bums when we were doing the shoulder bridge and things, and the swan dive. And come back out of it. Let's just swap the legs over. Do the same on the other side. So again, here, no stretch. Lifting up and out of it, and if you like putting pressure there, get a stretch in the bum. Gently out of it. must have worked hard today, haven't they? And the other way. And the shoulders. Uh-huh. And the other way. Okay, and we're done. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you've got some ideas of how to look after your bad backs if you get them, hope you don't, and how to strengthen them to prevent your bad backs. So any suggestions for next week, give me a call or put them on Facebook, whatever.